Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? Dear Prudence, greet the brand new day. Sun is up, sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you, dear Prudence. Won't you come out and play? Round and round and round and round, we go round and round and round, round and round and round, go round. Well, hidey there, pluckers. I have sore fingers again with part 2 of my lessons on Dear Prudence from the Beatles, of course. In part 1 we covered the intro and of course the picking pattern, which goes through about 95% of the song. Hopefully you've managed to make that work for you, okay, the picking pattern, and you've got the intro sorted, which obviously is also the outro, okay, exactly the same as played on the out part of the song, okay. So what you heard me play there was basically how to play a verse and how to play the middle bridge section. Then now you've got all the parts. You have the intro, stroke, outro, the verse, and all the verses play the same, and the bridge section, which is played once in the song, okay. So let's get to it. So coming out of the intro, you end up on this shape, this seesaw shape, and you go into the D chord, and it's exactly the same picking pattern as the intro. And you play that once, and then we start the progressive rundown sequence on the D chord, right? So you do the D once, as per the normal picking pattern. Then what you do is you keep the D shape, and you put your pinky up to the 3rd fret on the 5th string, the A string, okay, and repeat the picking pattern. Right. So now you've got D, D with a C in the bass. Okay. Then you take your pinky off and put this, keeping those 2 fingers where they are from the D. Move the 1st finger up to the 2nd fret on the 5th string, the A string, and repeat the picking pattern. So now you've got. Sorry, let's do it again. Okay, and the final one of the sequence is just this 1st finger moves down to the 1st fret on the 5th string. These 2 stay where they are, okay? So you just end up with that one, and you're exactly the same picking pattern as normal. And then you go back to the D and start all over again. The sequence goes round and round and round for the verse, okay? Until we get to the very last line, the Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play. That's slightly different, and I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, so we'll just play the end of the intro, and we'll play the 1st verse for you. All the verses I said play exactly the same, okay? So. Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? Dear Prudence, greet the brand new day. The sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, so are you, dear Prudence. saw the difference at the end there, that very last line. Okay, so when you get to that very last line, you go into Dear Prudence on the D, and you do the usual, put your C up, finger up on the pinky on the 3rd fret of the 5th string there, so the Dear Prudence. Then what we do is we fret a straightforward C chord, simple C chord. This is one of those times where the picking pattern changes slightly. So you fret the C chord and you pluck another double pluck, 5th string with your thumb, top E string with your finger. Again, this is just the thumb and the finger, okay? Those two together, 5th string and top E string together of the C chord. The thumb then plays the 4th string on its own, and the finger plucks the 3rd string. So, okay? The thumb then goes over and plays the 5th string on its own. So it's 5 and 1 together, 4 with the thumb, 3 with the finger, 5 with the thumb. Then the second string is plucked with the 1st finger. So then the finger gets to pluck the 2nd string. So, okay, 2 together, 4, 3, 5, 2, the 1st finger there. And finally, the final one is a thumb on the 4th string, and that's the last one of the sequence. So 5 and 1 together, thumb plays 4, finger plays 3, thumb plays 5, finger plays 2, thumb plays 4. When you speed that up, you get. Okay, then we move to, you only play through that once, okay, and then we change to a partial G chord. 1st finger plays the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and my 3rd finger and pinky are playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the top E string, okay, along with the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th, and that is back to the usual normal picking pattern of the intro and the verse. So you've got these, the C1, and then the normal one on that partial G chord, and then we go back to the D, normal picking pattern. Okay, so coming out of that, it goes, go from halfway through the verse, shall we? The sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you, dear Prudence. Won't you come out to play? Dear Prudence. And then we're off into another verse again, 2nd verse. So when you come out of that, when you come out to D, play, you start the sequence again. And then 2nd verse, Dear Prudence. Open up your eyes. Okay, and it's exactly the same to play as verse 1 with different words. Now, at the end of the 2nd verse, you get that same line again where it goes into the C and the partial G. Dear Prudence, won't you open up your eyes? Right, it's exactly the same as the 1st verse with different words. Yeah, and so this time though, you play the normal D like you did coming out of that. Sorry. But instead of going into the sequence, we're going into the bridge section. Okay, so from the D, you go into this. Right, and what that is, so you do the once on the D at the end of the verse, and then we go to a partial G chord, barring the first 2 strings on the 3rd fret there, 3rd fret, barring the first 2 strings with the 1st finger. 2nd finger is playing the 4th fret of the 3rd string, all the other strings are open, and it's exactly the same picking pattern as all the intro and the verse. Okay, so exactly the same as it was on the D, the picking pattern. So you just do it on this shape, and then you just move it up 2 frets to a partial A chord, barring the first 2 strings on the 5th fret and the 6th fret on the 3rd string. Repeat the picking pattern, normal picking pattern, and then go back to the G, and then we start again, and we do the G, D to G to A, back to G 3 times. Okay, so coming out of the second verse, we go where it goes, dear Prudence, as you open up your eyes, just keep going, look around, third time, look around. So you do that sequence 3 times, D to G to A to G, back to D to G to A to D to G to A to G. And then on the final time you did it 3rd time, coming out of the D to G chord, we go to an F. Okay, but it's a 4-fingered F. Okay, you got a normal F, straightforward F, simple F. You move the 3rd finger up from the 4th string to the 3rd fret on the 5th string, and your pinky goes to the 3rd fret on the 4th string. That's an F with 4 fingers, yeah. And the picking pattern is exactly the same as it was for the C chord in the end of the verse. So that's the 5th string and the top E string together, then the 4th string with the thumb, 3rd string with the finger, 5th string with the thumb, 2nd string with the finger, finishing up on the 4th string with the thumb. Exactly the same picking as it was for the C, but it's on an F, okay? Then what you do, you play that once, and you only go up to the 4th fret, keeping that shape, exactly the same shape, but you're barring on the 4th fret now, A flat, and you do exactly the same picking pattern as you did for the F. Okay. Then you take it down a fret to a G chord on the 3rd fret, same shape, don't move any fingers, and then back to the D, same picking pattern as usual for the intro and the verse, yeah. And you go back into the sequence. And then into the 3rd verse, dear Prudence, let me see you smile, yeah. Dear Prudence, let me see you smile. Alright, so we do that verse. And then at the end of that verse we've got the usual C to the G, back to the D. Then we do the 4th verse, exactly the same as usual, different words. Well, it's actually the same as the 1st verse, isn't it? I think that just repeats the 1st verse. And then at the end of that sequence where you go, dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? I think what I would do there is just do a quick D, stop briefly, minute, pause, and then go back and do the intro as the outro. Okay, so there you have it, boys and girls. Hope that makes sense to you. So we just run through that again. So at the end of the 2nd verse you come out of that dear Prudence, sorry, let's do it again. Dear Prudence, C, G, D, G, A, look around and round, look around and round and round, and the F, Look around. G. And so on, you get the idea. So thanks very much for watching and listening. Hopefully that will help you play that song. It does take a lot of practice. To get it clean and to get it consistent, it does take a lot of practice. Because one of the most common things I found myself doing was just instead of going on when you're playing the original intro and verse, picking that one, I do find myself occasionally not hitting the bottom E string with my thumb, and I'm just going between the 5th string and the 4th string, like sorry. I found myself doing that quite a lot, and I had to sort of try and force myself to make sure that my thumb actually did hit the bottom E string, rather than just doing. It doesn't sound too bad doing that, but it's not right. You've got to hit that bottom E string. And the same on everywhere you're playing that pattern, whatever chord you're playing with that pattern, even when you're doing the middle section, you've got to be hitting that bottom E string. Okay, well there you have it, boys and girls. So I don't waffle on and on. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.